What's up, guys? Welcome to um, another episode or topic video. Um, this one is going to be more from the heart. It's not going to just be based off information of the mind and knowledge and all that other stuff, logic. It's going to be more from the heart. Now, something recently happened that pretty much happens all my life, and whether you agree with it or not, when you go through shit and you don't challenge it, it will manifest later on in life. That's just the bottom line. I don't care how much you try to laugh at it. I don't care how much you try to be angry at it. If you do not face it, you will not grow and evolve. You will still have that same friend getting mad at you for the same thing because you won't look in the mirror. Or you won't change how you see it. So with that being said, this is going to be hopefully a 10-minute video, if not less, because I think if I rant a little bit, I'll get to my points faster. My uncle came home not so long ago, like 30 minutes ago, with groceries, probably from the church. Long story short, I'm behind him with my cup of tea that I finished. My aunt is going through whatever she's talking about. Basically, on mine is nonsense, just things that she got to get done in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, it became meaningful. My uncle is in front of me as she's going in the living room, and she's in the chair, and I'm behind him. Now, my uncle's pretty big, so his back is pretty wide, so no way you can see anybody my size. Um, and she said these exact words: "They don't want to do nothing." And I don't care how many times I hear that. Most of my life, I've always been 100. Street, that's slang term for real or brutally honest or whatever, direct. Even if I'm wrong, I'll say, "Yo, my bad." I don't care how old you are. I don't care how ignorant you are. It is always possible to say, "You know what? It shouldn't take you on your deathbed to be like, wow, I should have treated people more fairly." Or I should have been less fabricating. I should have been less narcissistic, broadcasting your rumors through people, broadcasting your say, and having your children you're raising say not mean a fucking thing. Invalidating their worth, not only their worth, their well-being, their self-esteem, their emotions, things they need to survive, let alone live. Just by me observing that one thing, you get all these crazy ideas, right? But that's because I pay attention. And just because you pay attention does not mean you're something is incredibly wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you fit a certain group of in society. It doesn't mean that none. It just means you're a human being who's paying the fuck attention and is courageous enough. Underline this and quote this. You're courageous enough after you paid attention to that awareness by stepping outside of it. You speak on it and act on it and stand on it. You got a lot of people who say they want the truth, they about the truth, but that most of their life is dandy. How is your life dandy if you speak the truth? I don't know any great mind, great public figure, great figure, period, great anybody who stood up for what they believe in that turned out to be right later on, who had a dandy life. I don't know anybody in life or in my lifetime who had a perfect life. I don't believe in perfect lives. If you do, get out of your ego because you're comparing your life to theirs. And if you don't want to get out of your ego, then you shouldn't be watching this video, because this video is not for people who this video what I contribute to the planet is not for everybody, as far as not everybody's going to like you. We all are connected spiritually, but we're not all on the same playing field. And that's what makes it interesting, fun, and yet dangerous at the same time, because you got two sides to everything, right? So, long story short, you know, I just turned 23. And to me, in a lot of cases, age is just a number, to be honest. Um, there's a lot of old souls who are like 10 years old, and not just in India, a beautiful place like that. Not in just India, they're in America, shockingly enough. Um, and they see this awareness of what, in other words, if you can see yourself, you can see everybody else. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Tupac Shakur, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, great people, great teachings, great minds, great hearts, great achievements. But during the time of their reign, by the media, they were deemed, underline deemed, they were deemed as the opposite of what they were praised to be later in life. Muhammad Ali was the example of manhood. He was alpha, not just financially. A lot of you, you know, you know, modern alphas think that alpha is just money. I ain't talking about that. He was alpha all around. Alpha when it comes to standing up for what he believes is right at the right time. What, like Martin Luther King said, it is always right to do what's right. It is a necessity. I don't care if you're in school. I don't care if you're at work. If something is immorally wrong and the grain is against you in that particular moment, you do what is best and you do what is right. But a lot of people, respectfully, I say this, don't want to do that because they don't want to lose what they have. That I understand. Because think about it, the system is designed to do that to us. They try to make it seem like everything is all on us. In a sense, it is, but the sense is not, because even when we want what we want, it's not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily turn out to be what we want. It takes 50, 100 years for that shit to happen. Like, thank God, women. There was a time when women didn't have the right to even vote. Black women. Now we're at a time where it's so diversified that it took that long for us to get to a place where we should have gotten yesterday. Not to sound ungrateful, but if we're truly for morality, if we're truly for inclusiveness, if we're truly for the term they always throw around, equality, you got to take every situation, every inconsistency, um, every aspect of our lives into consideration. Now, I've taken one small thing that happened in my house to another big thing because I don't know why. That's just how my mind is. I think so abstract. Now, you know, stay with me. So after she said that, like I was saying, I'm 23. I just turned 23, and my younger self, who still was an old soul but unknowingly was like, "Hey, that's not right," and I would react differently. The me now, for the most part, I won't say I don't react anytime, but I'm leaning toward never reacting again, and I mean that. Um, I'm like, I already know who you are. I already accepted the fact that you are the person you are. and I don't want to change you, but at the same time, it's like, what's the point? And then boom. I some people say fake it till you make it. I say don't do that to the point where almost half your relationships is based off superficiality. Excuses like blood is thicker than water. And I'm not saying blood is thicker than water as is an excuse. I'm saying they use that as an excuse to do the foul things they do, and consistently do it, and put all the blame, all the hurt, all the resentment, all the stress on your lap, on the kids' lap. And then they wonder why their kids grow up and branch out on their own, get their own life, and never come back again and because they don't respect you. They are thankful what you did, just like they're thankful for what everybody done for them. But not everybody deserves respect if they're not being respectful. Now, everybody reacts. Every action has a reaction. I could have been like I used to do. What I help you every time I can. You know, most of the time, if my uncle can't do something, I'll do it for her. But I think it's because she's so in her emotions that she just twists things to the point where she don't even know what the hell she's talking about. But at the same time, knowing people like that, you're like, nah, that's not an emotion. That's just somebody who's just full of shit, to be perfectly blunt. Now, and what's worse and sad is that when you speak this type of truth about even yourself, those same people who would chastise you for saying about your loved ones would be like, yeah, you should know better to treat. That's the that's lazy logic. That's lazy thinking. Think about it. If you criticize yourself only, you know how much anxiety that is, to say everything is your fault. Everything, that's like saying everything is you're right. Everything, that's all ego. Everything that happens to you is because the universe gives you what you deserve. That's true. No one's disputing that. But I'm saying if every action you do, every word you utter is justified based off superficial means to keep quote unquote what's supposed to be real actual relationships, real actual human reactions together, then you're a shallow soul. And if I say what I said about my aunt, well, I appreciate what she's done, but I'm just using that little situation as an example of the topic, which I'm going to say after this video. I mean, before the end of the video. If you say that of yourself or somebody you probably don't know, that shallow ass family member, not just somebody you know, but unfortunately that shallow ass family member who is the same exact mentality as that one, is always going to have the back and say you're in the wrong. Something's wrong with you. You need to go back to therapy. Yet you're beyond self-aware. You've talked to people who are great minds. You've interacted with people who are great at psychology naturally. It just flows out of them. They didn't go to college. They just know human beings and how we interact and the fascination in which we stand. So with that being said, birds of a feather flock together. That's the title of this video. Birds of a feather flock together. There are some people, no matter how politely you utter the truth, they will refuse to look at themselves. They will refuse to look at what they might have done wrong in a particular situation. And the saddest reasons I'll name. And if this video is a little bit over 10 minutes, I apologize. But this topic is so deep that it can't even fit in one video. You can write books about it endlessly because the mind works like that. It's endless. They do it out of self-image, reputation, Instagram, Snapchat. And like I said, the excuse of blood is thicker than water. And one of my jokes I have in my stand-up set is, I hope nobody's out there. I mean, not nobody out there, but in the sense of I hope there's no joke thieves out there that's watching this until I get to a point where I'm like more farther in my career. But one of it is the reason why some families are together. I mean, no, that's not how I worded it. I said, we live in a time where lies keep a family together, or something like that. I don't really know the exact words, but if I look at my device, I don't want to hold up the video, because that'll be unfair. But I probably put it in the description below. But yeah, a lot of time I know everybody can relate to what I'm saying. It's just that those who are perpetuating the narcissistic traits and projecting it and infusing it into the children slash community, they get away with everything. They don't even know how much they get away with. They're so like this, like getting like most things I've done in my life, and I'm not bullshitting. I've suffered from it eventually, and I knew why, and I said why. Versus people who don't know why, who don't even know if they deserve it. Like, you have some people who will judge your life and know very little about it. They just know gossip, which is a fabrication of your true self. Gossip is their gospel. In one of my poems, I said that they will judge your life, whether you know it or not, whether you would like to believe it or not. Yet they live just as reckless. You probably live rebellious, which in turn means intelligence. You're questioning. They confuse your depression issues, your anxiety problems, your anger issues, your lash outs, your whatever, you're misbehaving, you're not listening to authority as the same as why they did it. No, brother. I didn't do that because of the same reason you did. We have different intentions. And a lot of time it came out different because you got away with so many things without even you realizing it. As people like me, I didn't I did not I did not want to not face the consequences. But the people who don't even know your life will say you try to avoid the consequences because you're expressing why you feel this way about the consequence. Now, how dumb is that? So, me expressing how I feel after a certain situation, whether you agree with it or not, whether you think it's big or not, makes me out to be this person who doesn't like adversity. All of a sudden, I don't like pain. All of a sudden, I don't like that's the idea, is to open your mind. But some people who are around you, you got to just deal with and just suck it up and be like, yo, maybe blood is thicker than water. Maybe my friend, maybe love is all we need. It shouldn't take um so many funerals for us to realize that the truth is necessary before we all leave this earth. Love is the most beautiful thing in the universe. But the truth is, the more genuine you are with yourself, the more you can see the lack or depth of genuineness in others. And that's real. And now I may go on a 2 minute rant before I end this video. Um, most of the time, especially as I got older, I changed the way I talk to certain people I don't agree with. I changed the way I act. I changed the way I think, etc. My teacher recently told me something that some friends don't even tell me, or they probably didn't realize it yet. That things that I have to tell myself because that's how self-aware I am. She said, Antonio, since you came in, I can tell that you've changed a lot. Like you actually want to pass these tests. You want to do this. You want to do right. You want to challenge the wrongs. You're never veering from. And she's recognizing what your own family doesn't recognize, let alone be aware of themselves. They're not even aware. You're not if you're not even aware of yourself as much as the next person. How can you speak on somebody like me? You can only project what you want to see versus what it truly is. Because you can talk this, talk that to whoever you want, but the reality is your reality is a false one. Don't act like you some hard working person who got that job by yourself. Your parole officer got you that job. If you want to be real. Your child respects you not because of your abusive ways and you try to hide it, but because they respect you because you're the authority figure. You bring in the bread. Now, if you were truly for empathy, you would have to understand innately that everybody's different in their own way. Everybody learns different in their own way. Some people are slow at learning at this than what you are fast at learning. Everybody's different. Everybody's emotional range is different. Everybody's logical way of thinking is different. But that don't mean we all ain't the same. That don't mean we all have to use our differences to go against each other all the time, all the time, all the time. There's too many families that are separated in our communities that do that. They use their differences to separate as an excuse to separate instead of trying to work together on both ends, not just one, but both. If my parent was like, you're right, I was lying about that, that will be the day I become some type of, I don't even know what, ego in the sky. All you have to do is admit you're wrong sometimes. Look at yourself sometimes. Look at the reckless things you've done and got away with. You only looked at what you only heard about what I went through. You didn't ask the source, probably didn't even care. You rely on superficiality. You rely on money. You rely on greed. You rely on capitalism. You rely on things that divide us to get your own playing field. You rely on meaningless values taught by, like the old saying, if you chase money, you'll be chasing it forever. If you truly are self-aware, you would know that chasing money is just as pointless as it is as its existence. The history shows that yes, we are designed to work, like our bodies are an enemy, whatever. But it's because some people got so greedy that it may never be fair. So With you looking at yourself, you're like, oh, these things I never probably thought of. It's because you don't want to think of it. You don't want to challenge yourself. You don't want to look at yourself. You want to look at others and point the finger, and you think they point the finger at the world. But really, they're reflecting what they've gotten from the world. They reflect what they got from the world. Tupac said it. He said, rappers, we brought that stuff in our music to show you the statistics. If they weren't taking statistics, then these white folks wouldn't care. We'd be killing each other all over the place. So it's no right way or wrong way on how I speak. It's my way. If you don't like it, too bad. That's on you. But that's the thing. Everything I'm saying is based off self-awareness. It was a Ricky Morty episode. Before I end this, it was a Ricky Morty episode. I want everybody who watches this to watch. It was a little clip. I didn't see the whole episode, but I watched it because a friend put me on it, and I relate to it so much that to calm myself down when I think about certain world problems or social issues, and not calm down as in anger, but calm down as in passion. Just be a little more grounded, a little more humble. Um, I want you to watch that clip. It's called Ricky Morty Pickle. It's probably the most random thing I said in this video. It's called Ricky and Morty Pickle. Just YouTube it and watch. Is the character is named Ricky, and he's in therapy with the lady who's wearing glasses, and their conversation is what I'm trying to explain in this one video. I wish I can explain it in my own words, but that would take more videos. I can simplify it, but that would take great conversation, probably with somebody on my broadcast, which would be awesome. But yeah, it's no coincidence that the most self-aware person in the family or in the classroom, probably the most intelligent, and it doesn't even matter if you're more intelligent than the next person. It matters if you do good for others. I get that, but it's no coincidence that all the blame goes on them. No coincidence. None. The big group relies on only, I'm glad I'm about to say this, they only rely on common sense and the media. That person who's considered to be everything they're probably not, just based off what they want them to see, because they're trying to glorify their image, and they are so in their feelings that they invalidate theirs. That's how apathic some people are. I forgot what I was gonna say. Lost train of thought, got caught up in a moment. But yeah, like one of my weaknesses is lack of focus. But when it comes to things I'm passionate about, I'm interested in, or really, really curious about, my focus is crazy. But when it comes to certain things, especially in school, we say I recently passed a practice test, and it took me so long to even pass one of those practice tests. It took me months, and this is when I want to succeed in that environment versus when I used to not want to succeed for my own reasons. And not that I didn't want to be successful, but for my own reasons. As far as what you learn outside of school trumps what you learn in school because you learn how many lies they tell. That's the long story short about my reason. But yeah, oh yeah, like I was saying, um, yeah, like I got over my focus, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let everything go. I'm gonna let the baggage go. I'm just sit here, calm down. I'm not gonna look on my phone or iPod. I'm not gonna do this. Not gonna look around. I'm just gonna not second guess my answers, etc. And it worked. I passed, and it was such a blur when I walked out. I'm like, wow, is that easy? Just focus. That's it. Intelligence is one thing, but focus is another. People tell me all the time, you have a great potential. All my life, you have great potential. You're bright, but I wasn't focused. So that's the same thing with self-awareness. If you're not focused on who you are and try to better yourself and grow and evolve and learn outside of common sense and outside of gossip and outside of what you want it to be, then you'll never understand people like me. You'll never want to because you probably don't care. You're probably so shallow. You're probably so delusional that you really think you do know me because we're family. Oh, I've been around him all the time, and this and that. Okay, but like I was saying before I really end this, for real, there's no coincidence that a lot of them over here, and there's few people over here, that one person who's on top of the game, character wise, internal wise, consciousness wise, and they're all over here bickering, talking about superficiality things, money, way more than great ideas, how to change the world, this and that, as opposed to blaming things, judging, picking, and just toxic shit. And they think that that shit is normal on a daily basis. That shit is toxic. Nobody want to watch. I mean, if you're conscious, if you're highly conscious, nobody gonna is gonna watch Jerry Springer all day and say I'm a positive person. How do you walk away and say I'm a positive thinker and a positive person if you walk away from that content imbuing in your brain, your psyche? You're gonna become what you watch. When you become what you watch, you project that to reality. And what's the danger of that? You ignore that reality when you do it to others. That's the end of my video. Birds of a feather flock together. You project what you learn through media or gossip or whatever, as opposed to learning from um, whatever outside of those means, outside the norm. Step out the norm. If you watch my video or my videos, we have that in common. We like minds automatically. If you feel what I'm saying, we like minds. Come rock with me. There's all this other shit. I know I don't fit in. Not that I can't or don't want to. It's just that I'm not designed to. I'm on a different level in my life. So that's the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed this. This was not to degrade anybody or my aunt. It was just to use her as an example and to speak on what it is. And it's sad nowadays that um you can say the truth in the most polite way, but some people will literally take that as antagonizing, animosity, and it's sad that it would take you to do that to yourself, or you have to generalize that specific situation just to get your point across and have them understand or agree with you. It's so sad, but yeah, ignore them. Do you focus on you? That's what I'm doing for 2018, and thank you for watching this video.